I'm going to show you how to double your book sales on KDP in less than 24 hours. And I know this works because it works for every book I publish and every book I publish for my clients. But what am I talking about? I'm talking about A+ content. What's A+ content? When you go on Amazon, do you ever see those little images above the reviews? So let's say this is a page on Amazon. You have your book here, title, subtitle, and description here. You have your buy button here. And then when you scroll down, you have a bunch of different images here. And then after these images, your reviews show up down here. But these images right here are your A+ content. Let me see if I can find some to show you. Okay, so here if I open up this cookbook for kids, if I scroll down, you can see the cover, description, everything here. If I scroll down, you're going to see these images right here. This is your A+ content. This guy did a pretty good job. Obviously, this is a Food Network, so they already have their big brand behind them. But I'm going to show you exactly how to make really, really good A+ content. So even if you're not the Food Network, you can still be able to sell as many books as them. Now, I can't guarantee you're going to sell thousands of books, but I can guarantee that your conversion rate is going to increase. And why is that so important? Well, if you get 1,000 clicks and out of those 1,000 clicks, you get 100 sales. This right here is a 10% conversion rate, which means 10% of the people that clicked on your book actually bought it. Now, let's say your book, you make $5 profit. If you make $5 profit, you just made $500 at a 10% conversion rate. But guess what happens when you put A+ content? Well, Amazon claims that A+ content can increase your conversion rate by 8%. So let's say we do some mediocre A+ content and we increase the conversion rate by 8%. So now it's not 10%, it's 18%. And what's 18% of 1,000? Same clicks, it's 180. And what's 180 times 5? That's around 900. So you made an extra $400 just by having A+ content. And not even good A+ content. I'm on about 8% conversion rate A+ content. Now, if you do correct A+ content, you can get 10%, 12%, 15%. Most of my books are running at a 24% conversion rate. And when you have a high conversion rate, that sends the correct signals to Amazon and it helps you rank higher. Having a high conversion rate only brings you benefit. There's zero downside to having good A+ content. It can only benefit you. But how do you do this? Well, the first thing is when you do A+ content, you're allowed 5 different modules. What are modules? Modules are basically the images. So you're going to have one image like this, then another image like this, and then maybe you have one where it's like 3 squares. So this right here is one module. This right here is a second module. This right here is a third module. It's like the column, not the columns, but the opposite of columns. You're allowed 5 of them. Now I'm going to show you something that not a lot of people are doing. And I find that this is super effective when you do it correctly. Now what's the first thing you want to do? Before you even start making your A+ content, what's the first thing you want to do? The first thing you want to do is you need to figure out what you're going to write in your A+ content. What are you going to show? What are you going to put in the images? And how do you figure that out? Well, here's what I like to do. I know that we have 5 modules. So if we have 5 modules, what are we going to put in each one of the modules? My rule is that I like to only talk about one specific thing about the book for every module. What do I mean by this? Well, let's say we're selling a cookbook for kids, since we saw the A+ content for cookbook for kids. So if you're selling a cookbook for kids, what are some unique selling points of the book? What are some cool things about the book? What are some things that might sell the book? What are some things that make the book look valuable? Well, let's say we got a cookbook that shows you how to make a bunch of different cakes with 5 ingredients or less. So one of our USPs is 5 ingredients or less. What's another thing? Maybe all our cakes can be baked in less than an hour. Don't even know if that's possible. Let's just say 60 minutes or less. Let's also say that we have over 101 recipes, or we have exactly 101 recipes. That's a cool thing because other people might have 50 recipes or 70 recipes. We got 101. So here we found 3. Let's keep going. Let's think of 2 more. You have a cookbook. What are some unique selling points about that cookbook? Okay, what about super easy instructions? You got super easy instructions because it's for kids, and then also we have some simple illustrations as well, so they know exactly what they're doing visually as well. So there we go. Now we came up with our 5 different unique selling points of our book, or just good things about our book. What are we going to do now? Well, now it's time to make the A+ content. We know that the first module is going to talk about the 5 ingredients. The second module is going to talk about the 60 minutes or less. Third module is going to talk about the recipes. Fourth one about how easy the instructions are to read. And the fifth one about how simple the illustrations are. So when someone goes down the A+ content, all they're seeing is this is good, this is good, this is good, this is good, and this is good. You're telling them step by step what the good things are about your book. Now, it's obviously different for every book. Depending on the book that you're making, you're going to find 5 different things that you want to talk about. If you can't find 5, just do 4. If you can't do 4, do 3. Don't do less than 3 though. But if you just can't really think of anything, just at least have 3, because that's going to help you. It's better than having nothing. It can be a bunch of different things. It can be about the illustrations, or the way the text is written, or the colored images inside. Let's say we're setting a dating book for men. We're going to teach men everything they want to know about dating. Well, what do they want to know about dating? Or maybe they're scared to even go up to a girl and talk to her. Maybe they get anxiety. So one of the modules can be that this book will help you eliminate anxiety. Most of the girls usually hang out in groups. So if you want to talk to a girl and they're in a group, that's probably a lot more difficult. So maybe the second module will talk about how we teach you how to talk to groups of girls. They might not know how to go out on a date. What's the best date? What do you do on a date? So maybe module 3 is about everything about dating. Maybe module 4 can talk about the texting part of the book. How to text a girl. You get the point. But every book is different. You're going to find unique things about your book and you want to show off those unique things or those valuable things in the A+ content. But there's a very specific way that you want to show it. I'm going to tell you what that way is now. Let's say this is one of the images that you have inside. This is your first module. And what do we talk about? 5 ingredients or less. Let's say this is what our module is going to be. Well, if you watched the video on book covers, I talked about hierarchy. If you haven't watched it, click on the thing that just popped up right now and go click and watch it. It's super, super helpful. But in that video, I talk about hierarchy. What's hierarchy? Basically, if I have a bunch of text and one of it's big and the other one's small, you're going to read the big one first and you're going to read the small one second. So your eyes look at the bigger text first and then slowly goes down from smaller to smaller to smaller to smaller. That's how your eyes go through design. So since we know this about hierarchy, we can implement that in our A+ content. And how do we do that? Well, we know that there are 3 types of shoppers. There are the skimmers. What are the skimmers? This is literally just people that are going to scroll past your A+ content and not even read it. This is most of the people. Most of the people on Amazon, they're on Amazon for like 10-15 minutes. They buy whatever they want and they get off the site. Not everyone is on Amazon reading everything and making super informed decisions. Most of them are just browsing around, seeing what looks better and just buying it. So the first customers that we need to satisfy are the skimmers. And how do we do this? If we know that the people are just scrolling past and they're not really reading the A+ content, how do we satisfy the skimmers? How do we show them that this book is valuable? This is a book that they should buy? Well, it's very simple. We always have a large image in our module. Because if we have a large image, when they're scrolling, they're just going to see the image. So they're still going to see the A+ content, they're going to see the images, but they're not going to read any of the text. But that's okay, because if you don't have A+ content, they don't have any images to see. If you do have A+ content, they automatically think, oh, this book seems more professional, seems more valuable. No one else has A+ content. Or if they do have A+ content, the images are not that great. So if your images are better, you're already ahead of them. So if this is our first module, let's say this part here is an image. This is how much the image takes up. This is we're going to put an image of a cake here. This is a cake. This is a candle. Amazing cake. So yeah, we're going to have a really, really big image of a cake because we're selling a cookbook for kids or a baking book for kids. Whatever we're selling, it doesn't really matter. So now we satisfy the skimmers. They're going to scroll past it, see the nice images, and they're going to be, wow, this book looks amazing. Let me buy it. But there's a second type of customer that we need to satisfy, and they're the readers. What are the readers? These are very similar to skimmers, but they also read some text. They're trying to get some information. So if they're trying to buy a baking book for kids, they probably have 5 or 6 different tabs open with 5 or 6 different baking books, and they're going through each tab so they can gather all the data they can so they can make the most informed decision about which book to buy. Now, in order to satisfy the readers, we need to make sure we have headlines. If we have headlines in our A+ content, then we know that the skimmers are going to scroll past and look at the images, and the readers are going to look at the images and then read the headline. So where do we put the headline? We need to make sure the headline is the second biggest thing in our A+ content. So let's say this is the headline. So now the skimmers will see the image and the readers will read the headline. So it's important that the headline gives them some good information. In this case, oh, all the recipes inside can be done with 5 ingredients or less. That can be one of the headlines. That's not exactly how you're going to write it, but we'll get into the writing part in another video. But great, you got big images, you got a big headline, but there's also a third type of shopper that we need to satisfy. And these guys are the invested readers. What are the invested readers? These are the people that are ready to buy your book. They're comparing you to a second or a third book, and they're going through your listing to get literally as much information as possible. They're reading your description, they're reading your A+ content, and they're reading a bunch of reviews. These people are ready to make a decision. So how do we satisfy the invested readers? This is where we put some body text. What's body text? Body text is literally just text that further explains what your headline is talking about. This can be a sentence, it can be 2 sentences, it can be 3 sentences. Your headline is going to be just 1 sentence. Your headline is literally just to capture their attention. Give them the information they need so they can just go and buy your book. The body text is to further explain the headline. So if our headline is all the recipes included in the book can be done with 5 ingredients or less, our body text can be something like, you don't have to go to the store anymore because the 5 ingredients that you need to make all the recipes in this book can be found in your house. Discover 5 ingredient recipes no matter what time of year, from Halloween cakes to Christmas cakes. This book has it all. That can be your body text. Not the best body text. I didn't really have time to think about it, but I'm just trying to explain to you how everything works. So since your body text is the least important, which the least amount of people are actually going to sit and read it, it's going to be the smallest thing in your A+ content. So let's say it takes up this much space. It's also going to be a smaller font or a thinner font, so we can make sure they read the headline first before they read the body text. This is my secret layout to my A+ content. This way I satisfy all three of these guys. I satisfy the skimmers, I satisfy the readers, and I satisfy the invested readers. And also, because we understand hierarchy, the A+ content just looks good visually as soon as you see it. Let's see some examples. Okay, let's look at this for example. This is a how to draw book for kids. Look at how much space the image is taking. Now don't look at the design or whatever. Even though this is a decent A+ content, it's not the best. But look at how big the image is. Look at how much space it takes. This right here is one module, this rectangle here. The image takes up 2/3 and the text takes up 1/3. Now what's the first word that you read? The first word you read is no. Why? Because it's the biggest word on there. So no extra paper needed is the headline. And it's also one of the benefits, just like we talked about. One module is one benefit. So no extra paper needed, and then the body text, in a way, this doesn't have body text, but is the blank space to draw in book. So it's basically telling you there's empty space you can draw. You don't have to go buy another book. This is one module. But each image only talks about one specific thing about the book. Easy to follow instructions, boost confidence level, great gift, drawing using basic shapes. Let's go paper crafts for kids. And with this one, you got the really big image right here, takes up most of the space, and then a big headline. So these guys don't have the body text. Let's try and find dating for men, since we were talking about it. There we go. So this guy has the image, this is the big headline, and then this is the body text. This is literally the layout that we did. Check this out. Can you see this? Image, headline, and then body text. And if we go back here, image, headline, body text. There you go. 7 secrets to quality matches, confidently approach women, 10 text. It's basically whatever we talked about. Bulletproof confidence. You see, every image only talks about one point, and that's what you need to do. This looks really nice as well. They got the image on the side, and they just got one big block of text. But they got Christmas puzzles in bold. So that draws your attention to that. Now, there's one thing I didn't mention, but I can't give you guys all my secrets on YouTube. What I didn't mention is how to actually write the text to make it convert very, very well. So how do you write the headline text? What words do you use? How do you write it? Because believe it or not, there's a certain way you can write headlines and body text that's going to convert better and get you more sales. But unfortunately, I can't show you that on YouTube. But if you just stick to this and you satisfy the skimmers, the readers, and the invested readers, your A+ content is going to look 10 times better. It's going to convert 10 times more. Now, I hope you found this video valuable. And if you did, you're definitely going to find these videos valuable right now. The ones that just popped up on your screen. It's a playlist. Go watch it. You're going to learn how to make a bunch of money on KDP if you go watch these videos. So yeah, wish you nothing but success.